Hello everyone. So I wanted to talk to you today about quantum healing. A lot of people are asking, how is this possible? How does it work? And these are people that normally don't have a lot of information or know about quantum healing. And because it's modality that hasn't been around for ages and ages, a lot of people are still asking, how does this work? And I wanted to give you this example because to me, the way that I have seen it, because I'm a level 2 practitioner, but I have been through so much training in the dream state where for months I was going through training to learn how to do things in order for me to advance. That's why I was able to advance really fast and be able to get really good results, because I was being trained not only in the daytime but also in the dream state. I was being trained on how to administer and guide the client in a way that they can receive the healing that they need. And we have thousands and thousands of practitioners, so I'm not saying that I'm special. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, what I have found is that quantum healing is really a very sacred modality that has been given to us in order for us to transition from the 3D to a 5D reality with Gaia at this moment. We have been waiting for this for thousands of years, so finally we're going through that transition where a lot of us are already there and some of us are still catching up. So this is happening, whether we want it or not, it's happening. The reason why I believe quantum healing is so sacred, because I want to give you this, for those that know and have done, I think a lot of people have done ayahuasca or San Pedro, peyote or mushrooms or marijuana, these are sacred medicine. When you use it properly in a very sacred way, marijuana can become a very sacred experience. I'm not saying that you need to go do that, please, because a lot of people do get addicted. That's not what I'm saying. When we treat the medicine, the plants, with sacredness that comes so deep within us, and that's why we have shamans, because the shamans get training since they're child. From 9, 10 years old or younger, they're doing the training to be able to administer the medicine in a very sacred way. So by the time they get to be shamans and administer for many people, they have received so much training that allows them to go through the spirit dimension in order to see what the other people are dealing with, so that they can help them when it's needed, so that they can make the journey easier for the client, the person drinking, to be able to fully go in and get the messages, right? But the thing is that that's the one part of the shaman. The other part is that the person drinking has to prepare themselves physically and mentally. They have to go through a diet, and they have to cleanse their body. You have to drink a lot of water. You cannot be eating meats. You cannot be eating fried foods. Ideally, you want to do this for 30 days when you're doing sacred medicine. And by the time you get to that special day when you actually go to take ayahuasca, to receive ayahuasca, you're mentally and physically prepared. You have to meditate. You have to have an intention, but with no expectation. And you also have to surrender. You have to allow the spirit of the medicine to take you to where you need to go, so that you can see and experience and feel and learn what you're supposed to learn, experience what you're supposed to experience. And it is beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so sacred. I've done ayahuasca for others, and I can tell you, and I have done ayahuasca with shamans. Like the experience is so beautiful, it's so sacred. And this is exactly the same experience for quantum healing, because when you understand what's going on with quantum healing, you can see that it's beyond our wildest imagination. The healing that people are receiving, the just the emails that I'm getting, the messages, the text messages, and the emails from clients saying things that is unbelievable. And I want to give you a recap so you can get an idea of what I'm saying. My ears are popping right now, so that I can explain to you what I'm saying is so sacred, because by the time that you come to the session, by the time that you make the appointment, or by the time that you decide to make an appointment with someone, the higher self is already working in mysterious way to get you aha moments. By the time you come to the session, you're halfway there. You are halfway to understanding what's going on in your life. You start evaluating and seeing things differently. Start getting a lot of aha moments. And when you get to the session, because you have been working on that energy of understanding yourself, understanding why things happen, picking up the lessons from every experience, by the time you get to the session day, normally we talk for several hours. And when you go under the trance for a couple of hours, sometimes more, there have been clients that go to 2 hours and 30 minutes to almost 3 hours or 3 hours, and those tend to be very hard on the body, the physical body, because the energy of your higher self and sometimes the beings and the spirit guides that are coming through is so powerful that once you come out, you can see the body has adjusted, and they might be really nice and the skin is beautiful, and when they first come out of the session, it's like, ooh, like they feel their eyes popping and everything, because their body is adjusting back. Even the voice changes sometimes. Sometimes people have wrinkles where they didn't have wrinkles because it's adjusting, and then the wrinkles go away. It's not wrinkles, it's almost like you can see that the skin got higher, and then the skin flattens out again. And it's crazy because this is happening in front of my eyes. And by the time we get to the session, is a sacred experience, an experience that is undescribable, because it shouldn't be something that we rush. That's why I have an adverse reaction to anyone that has a very specific timeline of okay, the session is only going to be 3 hours. Well, no, I might say it's going to be 3 to 4 hours, but that doesn't mean that that's what it's going to be. It depends on yourself and your higher self. And it could be longer. There have been some sessions that are 9 hours long. There have been some sessions that are only 4 hours long, because it depends on the person. Normally quantum healing is an average of 5 to 6 hours, but there have been sessions that are shorter depending on the person. They might only have one specific issue that they want to deal with. And then we have sessions where the person has a few challenges that they want to work on, and it can drag out for several hours. So I have done sessions that are 8 and 9 hours long, and it's tiring on the body, on this physical body, for me and the client. But when it comes to the most powerful sessions that I have experienced, and that I have experienced myself, and that I have seen my clients experience, are those that come with an open mind. They come with the idea that they are going to trust the process, and that they're going to surrender. And this is the same thing that we do with sacred plant medicine. We don't go to ayahuasca to prove to ayahuasca that she doesn't know what she's doing. We allow ayahuasca to take us, sacred plant medicine, peyote, San Pedro, iboga. We allow them to take us. When we go to a shaman, when we go to a curandero, curandera, a healer, we don't go to prove them that they don't know what they're doing. So if you're coming to prove that I don't know what I'm doing, or that the hypnosis doesn't work, you just really wasted your time and my time and your money, because in our energy, which is the most important, because it's so quantum healing is so similar. It's almost like a mirror of sacred plant medicine, because when you come through, the most powerful sessions are those that allow themselves to share their vulnerabilities, to share what is wrong, to share what they need to share in order for them to get healing. And they don't hide, they don't look for excuses not to tell me something. They are very open. They confess, basically. You can say that word, confess. They say what they need to say. They allow, they trust, and they surrender. And they trust the process. When we go through the session, the actual trance session, these people are very easy to surrender. The moment that they lay down, they surrender. They close their eyes and they surrender. But the people that don't surrender have a very hard time receiving lessons, receiving and seeing and feeling and hearing, because they haven't allowed themselves to fully surrender. And sometimes I have to tell people, please surrender. You have to surrender, because until you allow yourself to really let go, allow me to see what I need to see without any fear, because the higher self is not going to take you somewhere that you cannot handle. The higher self will only take you where you need to go. So the higher self is not going to take you somewhere where it's going to traumatize you to the point that you're going to spend 5 years crying. That's not the case. There is always healing in those journeys. So when you close your eyes and you really surrender, and throughout the session, even when you're hearing someone, I learned this from doing sessions for myself. That's why I do sessions for myself, to know how I can improve myself. Because when a practitioner is going through her induction, there are some keywords that we need to make sure that we remind the client, like surrender to the experience if you notice that they're having challenges. And the reason why that is important is because sometimes you also have to remember, even though the practitioner didn't say it, because it might look like I am getting everything. If there is more that I wish to see, then all I have to do is I surrender myself while the practitioner is talking to me, so that I can go even deeper. And this is very important, because we are in command. The higher self and our ego mind that is under the trance is in command. Therefore, the practitioner might be talking and guiding you, but at the end of the day, you are in command. The practitioner is there to hold space, just like the shaman, to guide you, navigate you, but you are in charge. You allow the medicine to take you. Therefore, just like that, we allow the practitioner to guide us with the higher self to where we need to go, so we can get the answers that we need. And this is very important, because if you don't allow, if you don't surrender, and you don't trust the process, the practitioner cannot do magic for you to surrender. You have to surrender. You have to trust. You have to allow. And there is nothing more magical than when someone wakes up and we are debriefing the session, and you can see their level of understanding. Sometimes it's a lot that they might need a few days to integrate everything. Well, what do we do with medicine, with sacred medicine? We need time to integrate. We just did an interview with Lee about this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, and maybe I need to bring her back on, because integration is so important for quantum healing that people don't realize. Is a process. You have to trust the process. When the session is over, then you have to meditate on things that you saw. You also have to acknowledge the changes. Like I remember at one time doing a quantum healing to be more patient, because I'm very impatient. And I remember that even when I will eat or when I will do things, always on a rush. And lately, after that session, I was like, I don't feel like I have to rush anywhere. And to me, that was one of the most powerful things, because I've always struggled with like eating quickly just so I can get it done, because I just need to get it done, or doing things in order for me to just get it done. Where now it's like, let me enjoy that moment. Let me enjoy that process to the point where it is completely different than who I used to be. I even speak differently because of that. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, I even speak differently, and I'm like, my goodness, I'm a different person now. But it's true, I am a different person now, and I remember that because that was part of my, I believe that was my first or the second time that I worked on quantum healing for me. And I remember asking for something like that so I can have real evidence that this work. And I'm the person that I always want evidence, I want answers, I want clues, I want confirmation. So that was part of my confirmation, and I didn't think it was going to be possible because that was when I was first learning quantum healing. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm like, wow, I'm feeling it, to the point where a lot of the pain in my body after my first session disappeared. And I have severe arthritis, so working to release that pain took one session. It just took one session. And I will bring it back because I'm like, I don't think it went away, because I was doubting. And then I went through another quantum healing just to like fully 100% release anything. And they said, well, it's gone. It's just her bringing it back. So anyways, I just think that the similarities of sacred plant medicine and quantum healing is a mirror to each other, because it is powerful. It is the same process that we use in sacred plant medicine that we use for quantum healing. If you really think about it, it's the same process. You have to allow, you have to surrender, you have to trust the process, and then you have to integrate. And the integration is very important. That's why for the Awakening the Healer Within training program, we have an integration group where we meet once a month and privately to discuss things that might be in your mind, might be going through your dreams, maybe a message that you didn't understand. And this is very important because the integration becomes very powerful for you to understand what's going on. If there anything that you have to work on, that you have to meditate on to heal, to allow the healing to occur. Sometimes in a quantum healing session, they will say it will take 3 months or 2 months or 3 weeks or 3 days. And you really have to integrate that with why that long, because you need to learn so many things before you get to that point where you really are healed, or you really have the answers that you're seeking, because now you're ready to understand the answers or receive the healing. Sometimes the healing takes a little longer because it's very intricate, and in order not to harm the physical body, they have to do it slowly. So what do you do between now and then is important. You have to cleanse by doing a lot of water, drinking a lot of water, drinking a lot of greens and stuff like that. So it's part of the process, right? So I just wanted to share that because I think a lot of people don't understand. This is the like, honestly, even this is better. I was looking for something that wasn't something that people were afraid of for me to practice openly, because when you're in the 21 divisions in the occult spiritual practices, a lot of people think you're doing black magic, and I don't mess with that, but people will think that. And I wanted to have a place where people from different walks of life can come and trust and receive the healing without the negativity there. And that's why I found quantum healing. But I fell in love with it because, not because it was okay for society, but because I saw the healing understanding in the client's eye. When I channel information, when I do something for someone, I see it from my perspective. They get some of that, they see it, so they believe it. But there is something always that is like, they need to keep coming back, because they don't know how to do it themselves, they don't know how to heal themselves. And I didn't like that. I wanted to do something where people will get answers, real answers, to the point where they will believe it, to the point where they know how to redo it themselves by meditating, by practicing like opening their consciousness, by really tapping into their higher self, which is something that it's not done in a lot of the things that I know of. Like, even with 21 divisions or Ifa, you have to keep going to the priestess. You have to keep going back to the babalao or the santero or the palero or the whoever, the priest, the Catholic priest, to confess and do this. Like, there is always something that you have to do to keep going back to. And the goal of quantum healing is that you learn to connect with your higher self so that you can heal yourself anytime, every day, so that you can get the answers you need by yourself. That is the goal. The goal of quantum healing is for you to do a session once. If like those that are looking for more spiritual connection, they do the program because they have to have, they don't have to, it's up to them. They have to, they want that structure to know that they're working on different things to get to the point where they can use their spiritual abilities to heal others. Well, if you're just a regular client and you just need healing of something, you don't need to keep coming back. You come here once. And that is the magic of quantum healing, that once you learn how to tap to your higher self, you do it by yourself. Now, if you're looking for something more structured where you actually learning to awaken something within you and you need that guidance and integration time, then yes, that's why we have the Awakening the Healer within training program. But normally most clients, I only see them once. It is up to them to integrate what they learn. Just like when you go to a shaman after you're done, or a curandera, it is up to you to do what they told you to do, so you don't have to come back, right? It's the same thing, but mostly we want to go back because then something else happened and something else happened and we need to keep going back. Well, once you know how to connect with your higher self, all you gotta do is meditate, close your eyes, and go in to get the answers and the healing that you need. So it's really not that difficult. But I wanted to talk to you about that because I find it fascinating that now we've been waiting 2,000 plus years to be here now to shift the earth from the 3D to the 5D. And we have the gift of quantum healing, and there are practitioners everywhere. You can find quantum healing practitioners or beyond quantum healing practitioners that do healing online with Beyond Quantum Healing. So you don't even have to be in the same state, in the same country. So really, there is no limits. There, you can get what you need. You can get the healing that you need. All you have to do is stop wanting to be the victim, take charge, step into your power, and really develop that connection with your higher self in order for you to constantly heal yourself and expand your consciousness. So I'm gonna leave it here for now, and I'll see you guys